Good evening, people, and welcome to a Talanoa session between me and my brother, David Tawaki. Before we start answering some questions or just having a Talanoa session, there's been a few comments in our latest video that people want to do Q&A with me, him and my sister, maybe my mom. But this weekend me and my brother came to Suva, so that can wait for next week when we all come again, because they're gonna go back to Denmark, so maybe we can do a Q&A there. But today's interview or Talanoa session is more like, because a lot of people, I still get mails about, why did you choose to leave Denmark? Some people think that I got deported. Like, did I get deported?
It's true.
I can't get deported because I'm a Danish citizen, So no, I did not come back to Fiji because I got deported. I choose to leave Denmark to go back. And some people was like, why would you leave Denmark and go back to Fiji? Denmark is so well developed. It's, to be honest, it's a rich country,
Mm-hmm.
And then come back to Fiji and choose to stay in the village, And to be honest, it's been hard, but maybe we can talk about my experience so far, 2 years living in the village. And remember, people, whatever we say, it's our opinion. That doesn't mean that you should get angry at us because your opinion is different. It's okay. We're all human. We are all entitled to have different opinions. So please remember, we don't talk for the general public. We only talk for me and my brother, for his point of view. So, to my brother, David Tawaki, introduce yourself. Where you from? What do you do? And where are you again? Fiji. Yeah.
My name is David Tawaki, and I'm 23, and I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark. And what I do next month, I'm gonna start my first year of uni, studying finance. So, and then I play American football.
And you're here because you came to visit me? I know, thank you. And also, my son, small son, who is now 4 months. I heard from my mom that you wanted to come last year, but then they said they're going to come this year after my wife was going to give birth. So we chose to come with them instead. That's good. I'm very happy to have you here, people. So you come to Fiji a few times for holidays, and obviously us together when we were kids, So do you see, like, compared to those trips and this trip, is it different or is it still the same? Can you talk maybe a little about what's your opinion or what your experiences have been?
Yeah, this trip has definitely been different. Usually when we went as kids, we used to just stay in the village the whole time. This time we've done a little more pendling back and forth between I've gone with my brother in the weekends. So I've spent more time in Suva this time than I've ever done before, and really seeing Suva this time, like before when we used to come as kids, we used to stay a couple of days and then that was pretty much it, like visiting family we have here in Suva. So this time I've spent a lot more time in Suva, seeing the city while also being in the village.
And now that you have basically, since you came down here, we've been out doing vlogs together, you know, and you have seen what I do in order to be a content creator, and you basically been with me throughout the journey and your trip here. So, what's your experience like? Because people, they think that as soon as I turn off the camera, then I just wait until the 2 days later when the new vlog comes up. Then I'm like, you know, you know what you call it in the games of the Worklife, respond or respawn. Or then I'm just like going to like shutdown mode, and then next vlog I respond like. So maybe you can explain a bit, because like it's one thing that I could say, like I know for me it's hard work, but now that you experience it with me, maybe you can tell your perspective on it, how it is to be a content creator, or what it takes to be a content creator on a remote island.
Like seeing Ura these few weeks, it's really opened my eyes to what it all entails, and I think like vlogging is probably the easiest bit of it all, and then I see him work late in the evening, editing and putting all the final touches to it, and yeah, it's just a lot of work when you have other things to take care of. So yeah, I've definitely seen how much time you have to put in to be consistent in putting out content and all the work it takes. It's hard work.
It is definitely. I would say people. I worked before I came to Fiji. I worked 37 hours a week, and that is like what you call full-time work in Denmark. And I would say that now I work much more than 37 hours a week.
Maybe
Yeah, I work
100 hours.
I work every day, I would say, you know. Maybe some days, you know, it's more than others, but pretty much 7 days a week in order to, as my brother say, try to be consistent with putting out content to you guys, you know. But that takes us to my next question. Let's see here. Now, I know you're gonna study when you come back here. You're gonna start in late August and September. And congrats for you. I know this week when you were waiting for your answer, you were like, you couldn't sleep because you were like thinking of it, because you said to me you didn't have any backup options.
I didn't have any backup options.
He said to me, if we're not gonna come in and studying finance, I'm gonna enroll in the military. And I said to him, no, you're not gonna enroll in the military. If you do that, I will book a plane to Denmark and I will kidnap you back to Fiji. I will simply not let you go and fight and risk your life. So luckily for us, he got into his studies, and I'm happy I don't have to go to Denmark and kidnap him. But before that, you worked full time. So maybe you can talk about like what your typically work day is like, because a lot of people there, like especially in the village, and they don't understand why did you leave Denmark, you know, to come here, you know, like they always think that grass is green on the other side. Yes, there may be more money to be made, but it's not always you are happy, you know. So maybe you can take us through what it takes to be a full-time worker in Denmark for you, typically in your profession, or where did you work before you were now gonna start?
So I worked at the airport before, and I work full time 37 hours a week. At my job, it's not like you have 37 hours of work every week. Like some weeks you have 55 hours maybe, and then the next week you have 20 something hours. And usually you either work morning shifts or evening shifts, or you can even work night shifts. But with me having sports on the side, I usually have to have some morning shifts, so I'll get up at 2 a.m. in the morning or in the night, get ready for work, meet in at 4, and then I'll be off work at 2 p.m. And then when you've been up all night, you go to sleep early. Or for me, it's I think it's tough to have time outside of work in Denmark, because it's like you wake up, you go to work, and then you come home, you're tired, you have stuff to do, and you don't. For my my experience, I didn't have time to do like stuff for me, like relax, or you just go like through all the things you have to do throughout the day, and then you go home, sleep, and then you have to do the same the next day.
Yes, and it's like when you finally on your day off, you have so much, like it's not like you on day off. There's always something to do, like wash your clothes or clean up. Like it's like you don't. For me, like I felt like it wasn't even like rest day, you know, because on your day off, then you have to catch up. Oh, I have clothes to be washed, you know, stuff like that. And when you don't have a bunny aunts or wife, then you have to do it yourself, you know. Yeah, you were like occupied a lot of your time, you know. And that takes us to my next question. Like in the village, you know, then you go to the farm, you go out fishing, stuff like that. Then you come home, you just come home to your family, you know. But at that side of the world, it's a bit different, because like it's kind of like you have to schedule a time and a place to meet with your friends, and also like to go home to see your family. You know, I remember when I lived in Denmark, and it was like that when you have to go home and see mom and dad and Sarah, then they would call, can you come this day? And we would say no. How about this day? You know, you have to schedule it, and it's like it's not common. You just turn up and say, hey, I'm home. You know, you have to like let them know, hey, I'm coming by or something like that. So when you used to work, how like often did you go home to visit mom and dad?
So this year has been very busy for me with work and sports. So actually this year, the first time I was able to make it home to visit my parents was in June. That was the first time. Otherwise I hadn't seen them since Christmas. So yeah, as we said before, like I used to work every other weekend as well. It didn't make it easier to see my family. Also friends is tough, like because everybody got work or school, studying. Like people are so occupied, so it's tough to find time. Like I see my friends maybe once a month or twice a month. So like you always got something to do, so it's a real struggle to find the time.
Yes, I agree. And now enough with the family and work and all that crap. Now we're moving on. So your trip here in Fiji. Let's talk about food, because I know you love food. And you're pretty open-minded to try a lot of things, you know. And that's good, you know. You should always, like, when you travel to a new country, you should for me, I was always like open-minded and trying new stuff. And sometimes it was like nice, and sometimes next thing you know, you are like running out to the toilet. So Oh, that's the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
This is true. That's true. And it happened to me like when I just moved back to Fiji. My system had to get used to the food here, and yeah, det var holdt ud, as we say in Denmark, in Danish. So yeah, what's your go-to food in Denmark, and what do you love about Fijian food?
Oh, in Denmark we have this thing called durum.
Oh, durum.
It's undefeated.
Undefeated, undisputed.
It's like a. What can you compare it to?
We would say like it's a big roti, you know.
Yeah.
It's a brown bread roti. It's a big roti, and then you have like it depends like lamb pieces or like, beef pieces in there, and then you choose like then they ask you, do you want to have onion? Do you want to have lettuce? Do you want to have tomatoes. Yeah, but you go through that phase, you know, they're like, okay, you know, and then after that they ask you what dressing you want, and then they just like spray it in that, and then they just like roll it together, and then it's like you can eat it.
Quick and easy meal.
Quick and easy meal.
Always good.
Yeah, always, and it gives you full stomach. And Kebabistan.
Kebabistan and Flexon. Shout out
to Kebabistan. That's our hometown, our place to go. And when we come, then he'll be like, durum without onions and a bit of chili. And he just knew our orders, and we were like, dude, I haven't been here for over a year. Because we moved to the capital city, you know? And that guy is amazing, man.
He's amazing.
Yeah, and that guy is undefeated, that place. And durum is what I miss also when I'm here in Fiji, you know. But what do you like with Fijian food, or about Fijian food? What do you love about it?
There's so many good things. I've told Ura so many times while I've been here that I eat way better when I'm in Fiji than in Denmark. It's just nice, like in the village, having fresh fish and like we had pork the other day.
Yeah.
Like it's just different when it's fresh and like good taro and cassava. Like I've been eating good while I've been here.
Yeah, and it's also like because like we don't live with our parents, so we do all the cooking ourselves. And you know, I lived with Chris and another guy, one of my friends, and like for us it was just like what food can we cook that is most efficient and we don't have to like wash or clean up after ourselves, you know. So it's always been the easy food, and sometimes because compared to here in Fiji, the technology is much more advanced in Denmark. Like you have everything on your fingertips, you can just order, you know, and literally can follow your order all the way along. Now it's here, now it's there. So sometimes it's easier to just order. But yeah, definitely that you eat fresh in Fiji. That's what I also like about it. So let's move on to the next question. In Denmark, what's your commute like? And what do you think about the commute here in the village when you have to go back and forth? Now a few times with me to Suva. What's the difference when you went to work? What did you? Because you live in the city, and in Copenhagen, it's easier to bike or take the metro or the underground train rather than taking the car, you know. So maybe you can tell your experience with commuting in Denmark, and then afterwards what you think about the commuting to and from the mainland, or from the village to the mainland.
Yeah, so in Denmark in Copenhagen, especially, we have a lot of options for commuting. I used to take the metro a lot, which is underground, and it's like always like it goes every 4th or 7th minute, and it will take you like all over Copenhagen. So it's very easy, and the buses there, they go all the time. So I would say that like a lot of options is quick to get around, and like they're always on time. Very easy system. And in Fiji, it's been the first time I've tried. I think it's the first time I've tried being on the bus,
the minibus.
not the big one.
The big one. Where did you take the big one?
We took the big one from the station in Suva to this weekend.
I can't remember.
Gounder.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Gounder one. Okay, yeah. Shit, man, I forgot the Gounder. Thank you to our producer team for reminding me. Yeah.
I think that was the first time I tried that.
Yeah. Maybe. What do you think about the minibus experience?
The minibus experience.
Like when we take it from Corvo to Nusuri.
I think most of the minibuses here are not built for tall people. I need to say, because I sat there like this and I had my knees up against the person in front of me. Like I felt so bad, but like there was no space.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. But it's cheap though. And
It's cheap, but also it's very tight.
Yes.
Like,
yes. And the journey from the village to the mainland, and you've been through the good weathers, where it's just like, oh, this is nice, you know, this is luxus, as we say, like this is luxury, as we say in Danish. And we've also been together when it's fucking crap. So what's, because like, you know, the viewers, they don't see that part, you know, the traveling. So what's your take on the traveling? Because I have to go to Suva every weekend to do anything, because there's no like electricity in the village, or it's not consistent, you know. So do all of my editing in Suva in a weekend and then go back. So what's your take on that trip, that journey to and from?
it's definitely an experience. I think like the worst one was probably when we first had to go to the village. Me and Ura and Jacobi, we went with all the luggage in the small boat.
Yeah.
And it was bad weather, like very cloudy, and the waves were big. And I sat in the back next to Jacobi, and the waves, I was getting soaking wet, and I was trying to hold our luggage down. So, and the waves were so big, I was like, fuck, man. I looked at Jacobi and he looked so focused. And then I just closed my eyes and I prayed that we would get to Muturiki, like.
And I was sitting in front because like we had to balance the boat, right? You know, because like when the weather is like that, then you have to make sure the boat is balanced. And because the wave was so big, I was sitting in front, so I was like flying up and down, you know, like it was super crazy. But yeah, we made it to the other side. We survived, but it's just like a trip that needs to be taken every week in order to put up videos. You know,
There's also good times.
Yeah,
we had one time when it was good weather. I was so surprised that we were already there.
Yeah, I remember you asked.
And like my ass didn't hurt. I was, like, flying up and down. So.
Yeah. Next question. Now that you have experienced a different Fiji compared to always in the village and then back to Denmark, could you see yourself like maybe come here in the future and live here for a couple of years, you know, maybe work, and you know, I know in Denmark like you can always make a decent wage, you know. But here, do you see like an opportunity where you can come and make a life? Like, is there a potential in this country? Because, like, you know, a lot of people think that the only way to make it is maybe like go to overseas, you know. And what's your thought and opinion on that?
Like, this is the first time I've been in Fiji where as like a real adult, I would say, and like thinking in another mindset than just being on vacation. Because I've also seen so much of the city now, both Nandi and Suva. And I think in Fiji there's a lot of potential to do, like, build something for yourself, have a career here. So it's definitely got my mind going, like maybe someday when the time is right, it could be something for me. So
yeah, you're like kind of open to the maybe future opportunity if it comes.
Yeah, also because in Denmark you easily get stuck in that hamster wheel where it's just the same every day. And here is like change of pace.
Yeah,
I would say I think it would be healthy for you for me to go someday.
And if there's something you could take back to Denmark that you would miss a lot from Fiji, apart from me, of course, your brother. I know you miss me. He'll cry at the airport. I won't. Let me just put it that way, because I'm the elderly brother, you know, so I have to be the stronger one. But what would it be like?
What would I take back?
It can be anything, like big or small. Can't think of anything right now.
Very lovely thing.
Yes, to think. Just sit in.
Oh wait, I know what I would take back.
Yes.
A physical thing.
Yeah, sure. Anything.
Something I need to take back from Fiji is that mango skin powder.
Mango skin powder.
I had it like one of the first days here in Suva with the on the pineapple. It's so good. Yeah, I need to bring. I'll take some back to Denmark.
Okay. And people, for me, like moving to Fiji wasn't easy. Like it took me a few years of planning. Not like, you know, I sat down and then made like, it was kind of like a journey, you know. I came here for my practical the first time, or my internship the first time, in 2017, and that's when my brother, he left to go play for a year in America, high school, American football. So I left, and then I think a few days or a week later he left too, and then I came back. Then I came back for my second internship, you know, and I was here for 8 months, and by then I stayed in the village and, you know, learned a lot about the language and the Fijian culture, and it kind of like prepped me. Like I knew that this is something I want to do, because like I was kind of fed up with the hamster wheel thing, like because I knew when I was gonna finish my study, I didn't wanna like end up in that hamster wheel and then 5 weeks vacation. You know, you just work until you're like what 65 before you reach your pension. I don't know if it's still now. They said they would increase it in Denmark. Yeah. So, and I just want to go back to the roots. You know, I felt like there was a lost identity in me that I need to like rediscover. And I must say, in my early 20s and during the uni days, if we can call it that way, I was partying a lot. I was partying hard, you know, And every time I came to Fiji, I was always drunk, like always partying. But this time, when I came back, I knew that I needed to put in the work, in order to make something, to be something in Fiji, and yeah, it's not been easy. It's been hard. As my brother said, the vlogging is the easy part. Like what you see is the easiest part of being a content creator, and I'm happy that he has followed me all the way through the journey of my everyday life since he's been here, so you can see firsthand how difficult it is, and how much shit you have to go through, like just to travel to Suva sometimes. But yeah, like when I was reaching the end of my studies, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not sustainable to party all the time, and that's when I began to like build a plan on how I'm gonna move down here. And it took me like 2 years of prep in Denmark, where I just worked and worked. And then finally came the day, and you guys dropped me at the airport. My brother drove us to the airport, and that was it. That's the last time I saw him until now, and we actually haven't talked.
No.
Throughout those, maybe in the beginning when I came, but after that we lost kind of contact. We sent like some memes here and there, but then it would go for months without us talking. And then I messaged him before he came down here, like, yo, can you send me your flight details, because I had to pick him up at the airport. And then he just replied, who are you? And I was like, with my wife, and I was like, yo, like, I feel a bit sad. But then my wife was like, it's gonna be awkward when you guys meet. I said, no, like, I know my brother. As soon as we meet, then they're like, like, we just met yesterday, the way we don't talk, and now we're just hanging out every day. So that's it, people. A bit from us, an insight to a normal Danish life, and what a content creator has to go through in order to, or remote island content creator has to go through in order to put out videos for you guys to watch. Also, why we left, or why I left Denmark to come to Fiji. And also it was to make a difference in the village. A lot of opportunities in Fiji, people. And I hope we can encourage more people to move to Fiji. It's gonna be hard, even opening a bank account, Jesus Christ. A lot of papers you have to sign. In Denmark you can just use your phone. I was like calling my wife, I was like, what the fuck is this, So yeah, a bit of you will hit some low times, and also you will fly high, but always keep moving forward, and just embrace the Fijian way. Sometimes it's slow and sometimes it's really, really slow. And when you are used to a fast-paced world, you're like, yeah, you have to be patient, So that's it, people. Until next time.